last night. We're unpacking it all show long. Kenny Pickett staying in Pittsburgh. He's now officially a Steeler. He was the only quarterback drafted on night one. That's right. There's just one quarterback off the board so far. Malik Willis still available. Ritter, Corral, all of them might go today on NFL Network. Caleb Burton, welcome to the show. What's the latest in Pittsburgh?
All top quarterbacks available at Steelers pick number 20, and they turned to pick quarterback Kenny Pickett, who head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Kevin Colbert said was a top choice of theirs all along. Colbert said he was super excited to draft him and never thought that he would make it to 20. Now, when asked about the quarterback competition between Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky, and now Kenny Pickett, Mike Tomlin said all three are good options and each one has an opportunity to compete. When searching and looking and doing all their homework on these quarterbacks ahead of the draft, as Mike Tomlin put it, we circled the globe and turned to the guy next door.
Excellent work, Kayla. A storybook night for Kenny Pickett and his family there in Pittsburgh. Of course, lots of fans excited. I'm surprised, Matt, that it wasn't Malik Willis, who will have a chance to sit and develop behind a guy like Mitchell Trubisky. What did you make of Kenny Pickett? You wore the glove yesterday. We saw the highlights in the rain. Do you like it?
So apropos, right? We talked about him yesterday, but we've said, and I've said from day one, this is the most NFL-ready quarterback coming out of the draft. They're obviously familiar with him. He plays in their backyard, but at the same time, his accuracy, his ball placement, his skill set fits that NFL mold. And in addition to that, he doesn't get enough credit for his ability to make plays outside the pocket. The second reaction plays, we showed the play, that's the throw yesterday. Again, it's ball placement. So he will translate well to the NFL, especially the system that he ran at Pittsburgh. And it won't be that steep learning curve that you might have with some of these other guys that ran different types of systems. So I'm excited for Pittsburgh, and he's going to a team that is not in a complete rebuild whatsoever, right? He's going into a team that has a good defense side of the ball. They have a good areas of the offensive side of the ball. So all along, Kenny Pickett was the right choice here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm always fascinated just by the Steelers and what they do and how they handle themselves, because I have a great respect for them. After Terry Bradshaw retired, they waited 21 years to draft a quarterback in the first round. That's Ben Roethlisberger. Now that Ben Roethlisberger's retired, they waited 1 year. They got right to it. They're not out there. They're not vulnerable very much. Pittsburgh, you don't change the coaches. You don't change the quarterback. It's a vulnerable pick. Like, this needs to work for them. This is not like when they took Mason Rudolph fairly early in the draft, and Ben was still there, and if Rudolph doesn't work out, as maybe he hasn't, you got Ben. This needs to work. And the Trubisky thing is really interesting, too, because, you know, Bears fans were chatting a lot yesterday that Mitch Trubisky got Mike Glennon, meaning the Bears had brought in Mike Glennon to be their presumptive starter, as the Steelers have with Trubisky, and then what do you know, they take a first-round quarterback in Trubisky, or in this case, Pickett. There's already a discussion about when is Pickett going to start, when is Trubisky going to sit. Is it definitely Trubisky to start the season? But more importantly, we have seen decades and decades of Pittsburgh just marching out their quarterback and probably winning the whatever AFC game they're playing. We don't know if Kenny Pickett's good. We don't know. They put themselves out there a little bit with a first-round quarterback who is not a superstar, and if this doesn't work out, it's 3 or 4 years of struggling. You don't see that from Pittsburgh. So it's a little bit of a risk for a team that's usually pretty solid.
And the consensus is that if they did take Malik Willis, which was a lot of people felt that they might, it probably would be Trubisky, that you'd want Willis to sit and develop, but you have game ready, a little bit more game ready and polished. Kenny Pickett, he's ready to get in there early and do some damage if Trubisky isn't that guy. Schrags, your thoughts? We can say what we want about the Steelers side of this. For any quarterback that was drafted by them, no better position than Pittsburgh. I'm so happy for him.
No, it's terrific, and it's a great line that they traveled the globe on draft days. They did pro day visits with Ritter, with obviously with Malik Willis, and they found their quarterback in their backyard. Now, listen, honestly, what the practice facility is there is the Steelers practice on one field, and right there in the same facility on the next field are the Pittsburgh Panthers. I work with Dave Wannstedt over at Fox, and Wannstedt was the coach of Pitt. He's like, I got to know the Steelers players and coaches as well as I did my own staff, because you're in the same building, same parking lot. So they saw Pickett every day. They watched Pickett. Tomlin didn't need to go on some tour to go see it. They knew what Pickett was, and I think it's a pretty cool symmetry with what happened in Baltimore a few years back. Ozzie Newsome, in his last pick as general manager, the 32nd pick, was like, I'm going to go quarterback. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson and kind of set the stage for our next GM and our next team with what their quarterback is going to be. It was Lamar. Kevin Colbert, and what's expected to be his last draft, he gets Kenny Pickett, and whoever the next GM is, he's not inheriting a quarterback. He's getting a quarterback there in Kenny Pickett that he can work with. Trubisky, 2-year deal. I still think Mitchell's going to fight for that job, and Mitchell might be the week 1 starter. But gosh, Kenny Pickett was not drafted in a first round, loaded with offensive talent on wide receiver and in the interior offensive line, and loaded on defensive player talent. He wasn't taken 20th overall to just pick him. They're going to take him there to compete. And I actually love the fit for Pickett. There's no better football team, organization, consistency, and stability-wise than the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to get it back to you guys. It's like literally like a tornado out here.
No, Peter, you're back up. You're just going to have to stand strong, buddy, because let's stay with Pickett. You're talking about the symmetry between the Steelers and the Pitt Panthers, but you had gone off for weeks, Peter, about the symmetry between the Panthers owner, David Tepper, and Pickett. What did you think of the Panthers just breezing right by at 6 and ended up not taking him? Because I think you had a feeling they were going to.
Yeah, hey, when Ike Ekwonu's still on the board at 6, that's it. So yesterday in my mock draft, I had them going offensive tackle. I said that they're going to take a tackle over Pickett. I thought Pickett would slide. I only had 2 quarterbacks going yesterday when I was talking about this, 20 and 32. I got the quarterback wrong. Thought it would be Willis, but I'd had the team. Pittsburgh was the spot all along, and if Pittsburgh was going to be on the board with one of those guys, I think they were going to take quarterback. But Carolina, they get a local product and the #1 offensive tackle in this draft. They weren't passing on that for a quarterback that they weren't 100% sold on.
Peter, out of 100%, what percentage are you right now? We got wind conditions. We got you sitting outside. Is it cold? I'm a little. How are we feeling?
I feel fine. Okay, I'll tell you this. Tom and I were talking about it. Walking into this studio. We're outside on a balcony here. Walking into the studio. There's literally thousands of people still in the casino partying and drunk and smoking cigarettes. And I'm walking in like this in my collared shirt with my notebook, talking draft. It's a very interesting scene here in Vegas right now, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff from Peter. More from him from Vegas. Tom Pelissero there. We've got all the reporters in all the cities, your home teams, and what happens today. Rounds 2 and 3, it all gets very exciting. And we did see the trades. They went down in the middle of the draft last night for wide receivers. We'll discuss more after this. Packers Chiefs. Packers Chiefs.
They had too much sauce.
The New York Football Giants select Kayvon Thibodeau.
He is dancing